Well, it looks like Marvel Comics is returning Thor to his old form. We just got Marvel's Thor Annual #1 and the restoration of a major element of Thor's mythos. Let's take a couple minutes to talk about Thor's hammer. Well, this week, Marvel's Thor Annual #1 finally dropped, and it saw the restoration of a major element of the Thor mythos. As many of you know, Mjolnir has been broken in the comics for quite a while, and Thor has been separated from his old friend. Now, this is a trope in comics all the time, and we've finally seen Thor restore his hammer using his godlike power to fix the iconic weapon. Now, that particular story in the annual was written by Al Ewing, Martin Coccolo, and Matthew Wilson, and sets up the upcoming Immortal Thor series, which is basically going to have the same creative team. Now, if you haven't been reading the comics and wondered what happened to the hammer, well, interestingly enough, it's been destroyed a few times over the last couple of years. Now, at the end of the Jane Foster run, the mighty Thor used Mjolnir to defeat the villainous Mangog. She flew the hammer and Mangog into the sun, chaining them with the chains that were originally used to bind Fenris Wolf, and ultimately this destroyed the hammer. Now, the hammer was broken into a number of tiny pieces, and after Jane was brought back to life, she gave a sliver of the hammer to Thor. This led to the War of the Realms crossover event, where Thor sacrificed the last little sliver, then was able to reforge Mjolnir via the god Tempest. However, the new reforged Mjolnir was infected by the spirit of Mangog, and it was corrupted by the god Tempest within the hammer to become sentient and destructive, and it actually killed Odin. Now, in last year's Thor #23, Thor was forced to destroy the hammer. However, his sister Angela collected the pieces and stitched them back together into a piecemeal version of the weapon. This leads us to Thor Annual #1, seeing Thor return to his classic comic outfit, and although he is now the current Allfather of Asgard, the God of Thunder still believes he needs to be himself and have his own adventures, and as part of this return, he actually uses the Odin Force to reforge the hammer. This sets us up for the upcoming Immortal Thor series, which should be a ton of fun. Not only are we returning to the classic Jack Kirby era costume, but he also has his classic hammer back at his side, hopefully leading to some very, very old school stories featuring the God of Thunder. We're going to have to wait a little while on Immortal Thor, but Thor Annual #1 is currently on sale. I've linked it down below, and I got to encourage you guys to check it out, because as a long-term Thor fan, it is super cool to see him finally return to not only his classic costume, but his classic weapon. Make sure you check it out.